Okay, today we're going to talk about gerunds. Do you really need to know what they are to get ahead in life, to be successful? I don't know. But really, it is kind of helpful for down the road when you're talking about common rules, or if you're going to become an editor or a teacher, or if you need to be really a grammar nerd, this is an important thing to identify. You do see these things everywhere you go, multiple times a day. So it is helpful to know what they are. So again, today we're going to talk about gerunds and gerund phrases. But before we go too far in this video, you should really have a good grasp on what a noun is and the various different types of nouns in a sentence, like a subject, direct object, the object of a prepositional phrase, maybe even a predicate nominative would be helpful. You need to have a good grasp of those things before you walk into this dangerous gerund phrase territory. So, let's begin. So, before we talk about gerund phrases, we need to talk about gerunds. They're actually kind of easy. It's just, there's two qualifications to be a gerund. Number one, it's a form of a verb that ends in ing. Two, it acts like a noun. That's the key there. It acts like a noun. Often you're going to find it as the subject of the sentence, or a direct object, or an object of the preposition. In all cases, those are nouns. Now, if you're a little unclear on what a subject, a direct object, or an object of a preposition is, you should take a look at those videos as well. So, I know I kind of gave you the impression that gerunds are a piece of cake. They're just verb forms that end in ing and act like a noun, right? Well, they can get a little tricky sometimes. Just because it ends in ing doesn't mean it's a gerund. Let's take a look. Three different examples here. We have a gerund, we have a participle, and we have part of a verb phrase. They all use the same word, flying. But only the top one is that word flying, a gerund, or a noun. So, let's take a quick look at it, see if we can kind of figure this out. Now, I know we're going to mention participles and verb phrases. Those are different videos. Feel free to check them out. Okay, but for now, flying. Here's our verb form that ends in ing. Is his favorite activity. Is a linking verb. Flying is acting like a thing, a noun. It's a thing. So it's actually acting like the subject of our sentence. It's a noun. Flying, this thing, is his favorite activity. This, by the way, is a predicate nominative. Well, that's another video too, don't worry about it. Okay. Now, here's the same word flying, but it's acting as a participle. In other words, it's acting not as a noun. Flying, Superman came to the rescue. Again, it's not a noun, not a gerund. It can also act as a verb phrase. Sometimes I dream that I'm flying. Little trick here, there's am, that's a form of to be. You can see that am flying is part of like a whole verb phrase acting as a single verb. And that is the thing you do, not a noun. I am flying. So, it can get tricky. The point is, remember, it's got to act like a noun to be a gerund. Now that we've covered gerunds, now it's time to talk about gerund phrases. Pretty much, they're the same thing, more or less. A gerund phrase is a gerund and all of the modifying words or phrases that go along with it. So since a gerund acts like a noun, if there's an adjective right next to it, that's going to be part of the gerund phrase. Sometimes you'll find a prepositional phrase that kind of goes along with the gerund. That's going to be all together as a gerund phrase. So, rule of thumb, kind of look to see what goes along with your gerund once you identify the gerund. If there's words that kind of modify it, include that as your gerund phrase. Let's take a look. In this example sentence here, you should really give jumping out of a plane a chance if you like thrill-seeking. Now, let's first identify the gerunds. We got a couple words that end in ing. Jumping, it's a thing. Oh yeah, thrill-seeking, that's a thing. Okay, so we've identified our gerunds. Now, what are the words that go along with those gerunds? You should really give jumping out of a plane a chance. I think jumping out of a plane, those kind of seem to go all along together. Again, use your intuition here. It's generally correct. If you're really advanced, you do know that out of a plane is a prepositional phrase, modifying jumping. So, this is a gerund phrase. It has a gerund and words that go along with it. Now our next gerund, thrill-seeking. There's really nothing after it. If you like, boom. So thrill-seeking, it's only the gerund that's part of the gerund phrase. That's okay. A gerund phrase can only consist of the gerund. That's fine. We'll do one more example just so we're kind of clear. Again, there's more examples on the follow-up activities or additional. Again, if you're looking for additional information or examples, I do have them posted along with this video. Two more sentences just to practice your gerund phrase identification skills. First a really long one, then a really short one. Running around like a chicken with his head cut off is one of my favorite things to do. Here's our ing that kind of tips us off that this may be a gerund. Yes, running, it is a thing. Okay. Now what are the words that go along with it? Geesh. Running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Those really kind of all function together as one unit. So, even though there's some adverbs and prepositional phrases in there, they all kind of go together with this gerund here, and so that's why that is going to be the whole gerund phrase. Let's check out this one. Much shorter, easier. Check your homework before leaving. Oh, again, here's our gerund right there. That's it. That's the whole gerund phrase. There's no words kind of going along with it. If you're real sneaky, you would notice that before leaving is a prepositional phrase. This is the object of the preposition, but again, that's advanced stuff. Okay, to sum it all up, gerunds. There's a form of the verb that ends in ing and it acts like a thing, a noun, like running, jumping, singing, crying, flying, dying. And generally they also come as part of a phrase. There's some words that go along with it. It seems like there's some words that go along with that gerund you identify. Clump them together in a gerund phrase. Treat it like a single thing. Really, that's pretty much all there is to it. Go forth and prosper.